Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Top Hat Gaming Man here with Mr. Street. How are you?
Pained by your intro, but carry on.
What's wrong with my intro?
It was fine. It was very wooden.
Good. There's nothing wrong with appearing wooden.
Okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be talking about the Nintendo Switch.
Again.
Because people love it when we talk about the Nintendo Switch. They really, really do.
Yeah, they do.
Love it.
Since the last time we spoke about the Nintendo Switch, do you think that your opinion of it has changed at all?
Slightly, I suppose.
Yeah, it's going up in my... What's the word?
It's growing on me slightly.
Yeah, it is. It's
not
growing.
greatly, but a little bit. And to be fair, this is what I've been saying since day one. But the more the system matures, the more I will like it. But
yeah.
I don't think there's still any reason for there to be much hype around it. I still think
Smash Brothers. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not out yet. So what's the point of being excited about something that doesn't exist? There's not even any screenshots of it.
Splatoon.
Again, we've had Splatoon games, so we know what to expect. This is all stuff we... It all annoys me. It's all over the top and stupid.
Like you.
Yes, in a way, but different.
Yeah, similarities don't attract, like magnets.
Yes, whatever. But we're talking about the Nintendo here, the Nintendo Switch.
Okay, so Nintendo Switch, is there anything specific that you feel like we need to cover?
Yes, and that is, I possibly think that it seems to be failing in the UK as a platform.
I bought 3.
You bought 3, yes, but I don't know anyone in real life who owns one, and I know a lot of people.
Some.
Well, okay, I know some people, and I don't know anyone who owns a Switch.
Yeah, no, to be fair...
and by the way, when I say you're not a real person because you're appearing on YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTubers don't count because
Well,
they've got an agenda to push.
Yeah. Well, I bought one for my other half as well, and she doesn't play it.
Exactly.
And I bought one for her daughter. She doesn't play either. And I encouraged about 4 people to buy one, and none of them did. So yeah, I play mine.
I play mine occasionally, but
Yeah.
I don't know anyone else who owns one other than you.
Yeah, no, to be fair, that's... I know somebody else that bought one, and they added me, and they're never online.
So you know someone else. So there is someone else who bought
One.
Switch. One
Yes.
other person.
Yeah, one.
So this is the thing. To me, it appears like Nintendo have done the old "we can't cope in Europe" problem,
Again.
or can't cope in the UK at least.
Yeah. I have a little...
Why is that though? Why can Nintendo? Why do they always fail? I've seen them do well with consoles twice, ever. And that was with the Nintendo 64, which seemed to be everywhere at the time.
And even that got blown out of the water by the PS1.
But yeah, people still had... Yeah, that came out years before though. But what I mean is people did buy Nintendo 64s. I remember being around lots of friends' houses and playing multiplayer GoldenEye and Mario Kart 64.
Yeah.
People were playing
There was
those
quite
games.
a few
I
people.
can remember it.
Yeah.
It actually happened.
Yes, okay.
But then after that was the Wii. But the Wii was a weird one because people bought Wiis and they didn't play them.
They all bought them and they ended up
played
in
for
lofts
one
and
day,
garages. Yeah. So they sold really, really well, but for absolutely no reason.
So the Nintendo 64 is the only Nintendo platform I remember a lot of people playing in mass in this country.
Yeah.
But the handhelds, they've always done well. I've always seen lots of Game Boys around, Game Boy Colors, DS's. I've always seen those about.
And now I've learnt more about the competition that was popping up here, there and everywhere. Because my thing was, well, to be fair, Nintendo handhelds are always going to do well because there's no competition. After learning about some of the competition of those that there was, I think, well, how did they do so well? It must be because they're good.
No, we would discuss this as well. They did well good because of Pokemon.
Yeah.
That's it. But Pokemon just killed all the competition for like every generation.
Yeah, it's true. But yeah, there was a lot of competition about it, so that's a legitimate one. That's really legitimate.
But saying that, if all of these handhelds have done well in the UK, all of them, the Switch is a handheld. So why is that bombing all of a sudden? If all the other Nintendo handhelds have done great, why is the Switch bombing?
I literally just think it's the amount of content, and it's not just the content they do have, it's the fact that a lot of the content seems very Japanese-centric.
Ah, so you think it's not content what's bespoke to a UK market?
No, I mean, their big game at Nintendo Direct, one of their big games was bloody...
Splatoon?
Well, that was one that I was going to bring up in a minute, but Sushi. It was about sushi. Nobody cares about sushi except for hipsters.
That's true.
Like, there is no reason.
That
enjoy
brings to
sushi.
another point, and another video I'm considering making, Avery, over on my own channel, is Nintendo now no longer a product what's primarily aimed at children. Is it aimed primarily at hipsters now? Because it feels like those are the only people in my country that would own a Switch would be a hipster or a YouTuber.
Yeah. No, to be fair, going to a little story that I have.
Because children don't care about Nintendo.
No.
I know loads of children, and they genuinely don't give a crap. They game on tablets, mobiles, and if not, they've got an Xbox One or PlayStation 4. I don't know any child. I've never met a child who likes Nintendo. They don't really exist, do they?
No, it is true. Again, I've got a little story about the Switch. Really brief one, a recent one. I went into my local game store. I've told this story on stream. Twitch.tv/TopHatChat. I haven't been getting a lot of these in.
Okay.
I told the story on stream, but I'll tell it again really quickly. I went into my local game store and was chatting to them about the fact that I wanted to do some Labo content on this channel and also during the live stream. But I said there's no point in doing it because it was released a week late. So they said, well, actually we've got all of our stock in now, and I was trying to get a freebie or at least an early release. So they took me out the back and showed me their boxes, and their entire stock of what was billed as being a really big Nintendo release was 8 flat pack boxes.
Okay.
That was their entire stock.
Their stock was just
for
8
this
copies.
Big release, and there was like 2
So
or
to put
3.
this into context, game in this country is absolutely massive.
Yeah.
It's the equivalent in the United States to GameStop. They're literally everywhere.
Yeah. But apparently their practice is a little bit nicer than GameStop. I've heard bad things about GameStop.
Okay.
But yeah, so their entire stock for this store, and bearing in mind that this particular store covers a really decent size area.
Yeah, so one big town and lots of surrounding villages.
Yeah, loads of surrounding villages. There was 8 copies, and only one of those was a pre-order for the variety kit. That's it. That's it. I mean, I want to know who bought that variety kit, because they've either got too much money.
How many of those
or...
8 actually sold?
I don't know. I might have to go back in and ask. I might do actually. I might literally do that tomorrow.
Well, find out if they. Yeah, that'd be interesting to know
Yeah.
whether anyone buys Switch stuff at all in this town.
Yeah, I would be interested because their stock is awful as well. You've been in
Well,
there?
the Switch section's tiny, so you've got a huge Xbox One section.
You've got a wall of Xbox One and a wall of PS4, and then in the middle, next to some Pokemon toys, is your Switch section, and it's literally like
That's
tiny.
That's the point actually, and I doubt many
Can't even
people
explain how
would
big.
necessarily know this around the world. The Xbox One in this country is massive, isn't
Oh
it?
yeah, it's huge. Yeah.
The Xbox Ones are everywhere. Like I've heard in places like the US, the PlayStation 4's killing it. That's not the case here, is
No,
it?
it's not.
They're equal.
Especially most of my friends have got Xboxes.
They're everywhere, yeah.
Yeah.
So Xbox is doing amazing in this country. Nintendo, as usual, doing crap like they always do.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense because again, like I mean, one pre-order for the size of the area that we have for a big Nintendo release is ridiculous.
It's yeah. It just shows you, doesn't it,
Yeah.
that Nintendo. It's all hyperbole around Nintendo in this country. Like you get the mad Nintendo fanboys from England, who I see in the comment sections, but they are mad clearly. Because
Yeah.
It's not a big brand here. It really isn't, and I'm sick of it being blown out of proportion.
Yeah. I mean, you're really sick of it because you even went a bit high pitched there for a second.
Tired of it. Yes, I'm tired of it. But yes, in this shop game, you've got, like I said, huge Xbox One section, huge PS4 section, little tiny Nintendo Switch section.
It's ridiculous, and most of them are pre-owned. They've got more pre-owned games in there than they have.
Ah, that's the point. Though.
else.
If there's pre-owned games, there must be people who own them, who's selling their games.
Yeah, I mean there must be. There
That's
must be a
something.
handful.
Then we know something.
I've also popped into CX.
Did you?
Yes, I
Did they
pop
have
in there
any-
every
did
so
they have
often
any Switch games?
to laugh at their prices, and they had about 10.
That's something, I suppose.
Yeah, they had 10 Switch games up on a shelf in the very back right-hand corner of the store, and they were all ridiculously overpriced, and I hate CX. But still, CX.
So, from what you've seen,
Yeah.
is the Nintendo Switch failing in the UK? Is it going to become a popular platform here?
I think it will eventually.
Really? Because I don't think it ever will.
I think it will be decent. I think it will be decent enough to get a following.
See, even in the Super Nintendo era, I felt like a weirdo owning the Super Nintendo because everyone else had Mega Drive.
I owned a Super Nintendo.
And I don't think it's
for-
really changed.
Yeah. I think that it will never be a standalone.
What do you mean a standalone?
I don't think, like, now a lot of people will have either an Xbox One or a PS4. A select few will have both.
Oh, so you're saying it's for hardcore gamers? So people only own a Switch if they've already got a PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, then they get a Switch on top. You won't get someone who only has a Nintendo.
Yeah, I do. I genuinely believe that.
You're probably right, because I've not seen anyone have that for many. Nintendo 64 was probably the last time I saw people doing that.
Yeah, nobody had just a Wii unless you were like a 4-year-old or a 65-year-old.
Yeah.
Nobody had a Wii U.
Except for me, I had one.
Yeah, I think you bought the only Wii U in the country.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean nothing.
So, yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are still at the status quo where Nintendo continue to fail in this country. The question is, well, failing is they normally do okay in handhelds, but they're failing on the handheld this time as well. So.
Maybe
this is Nintendo's weakest point, maybe, in this country's history.
Maybe when they stop supporting the 3DS, which they said they weren't going to do, but they probably will, and they start releasing titles that would have been successful on the 3DS, and they start releasing those on the Switch only, maybe that's when it will pick up.
Maybe. So we think it might. You think it might do well in this country once they get rid of the 3DS?
I do. I think that it would be a smart business decision for them to do that.
Yeah. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, to finish this off, I would like to hear your thoughts on why you perhaps think the Nintendo Switch appears to be failing in this country. Why the Nintendo never seem to do very well here? Are they marketing stuff completely wrong, or is it something else? Are they not investing enough money in the region? I'd be curious to know all of your thoughts on this interesting
topic.
Subject.
Sorry, I thought you were stuck in a loop.
Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us know. Cheerio!